This week, we begin the third book of the Torah, VaYikra, Leviticus. This is an abrupt transition from the exciting narratives told in the books of Bereshit, Genesis, and Shmot, Exodus. VaYikra is more of a legalistic and methodical book, with only a couple of good stories. It's mostly about the rights and responsibilities of being a Kohen or Levi, including lengthy descriptions about the korbanot and the sacrificial system. Not only is the content of Sefer VaYikra less compelling than the previous biblical books, but it also offends the sensibilities of many modern Jews, as it explains in graphic detail how the newly freed Israelites should serve God by offering animal sacrifices, korbanot. A key to understanding the deeper meaning of this book, I believe, can be found right at the beginning of the Parsha, Parashat VaYikra, chapter 1, Pasuk 4. This verse describes the type of sacrifice known as an olah, the burnt offering. The Pasuk reads, V'samach yado al rosh ha'olah, v'nirtza lo lechaper alav. And he shall rest his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him. The word v'samach, translated as he rests his hand, comes from the same shoresh, the same root, as the word smicha, which is the word usually used to describe the rabbinic ordination, when one rabbi places his hands or her hands on the head of another rabbi and therefore makes that rabbi officially a rabbi through this act of smicha. In my case, in my ordination ceremony from JTS, it was Rabbi Lisa Gelber who placed her hands on my head and wrapped me in a talit, and that was the smicha action. In Masechet Chagiga 16b, the Talmud suggests that the Hebrew word v'samach, coming from the word smicha, means more than simply rest his hand. According to this section of the Talmud, this act of smicha involves one's entire strength. Rami Bar Chama taught that the laying on of hands, smicha, must be done with all of one's strength. For if you suppose that one's whole strength is not required, what work does one do by laying on the hands? Commenting on these sections of the Torah and Talmud, the Rambam, Maimonides, elaborates and says that the one who is doing the smicha, the laying on of hands, needs to press with all of his strength. There shouldn't be anything interposing between his hands and the animal. That teaching is in Rambam's Hilchot Korbanot. In other words, the act of offering a ritual sacrifice was a hands-on project, literally, one that required intentional physical action. Those who brought sacrifices were getting their hands dirty, so to speak, investing their full selves in the process. While Jewish rituals have shifted away from animal sacrifices, this Jewish value of action and physical responsibility remains the same. Our tradition requires us to serve God through our actions, indicating that there is something about doing, about action, that brings us closer to God. So what makes the book of VaYikra compelling is not that it's a page-turner in terms of storytelling, but that it conveys the value of concrete actions. By sifting through the blood and guts and gore of the book of Leviticus, we may find that this book offers us the valuable lesson that there is stuff, concrete stuff, that needs to be done in this world. As the holiday of Pesach approaches, I'm reminded of this call to action and the stuff, physical stuff, that needs to be done. The physical preparation for Pesach is just as important as the holiday itself. requiring us to use our two hands and our whole strength to establish a holy space and a spiritual state of mind. For some, this means cleaning one's house from top to bottom, clearing out the clutter that accumulated over the year, and preparing the kitchen to be bread-free. For others, this hands-on obligation might mean cooking a side dish or a dessert to bring to a friend's Seder, or perhaps collecting tzedakah money to donate to others so that they might be able to observe Passover. However one chooses to interpret this divine call to action, let's be reminded by the book of VaYikra that actions speak louder than words, and that by infusing our actions with intention, kavanah, we have the opportunity to live more presently in this world. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shabbat Shalom, and may your pre-Passover preparations be infused with kavanah and meaning.